and a friend of mine invited me for service here, and I said, this is the place for me.
I'm really happy. Like, I'm indescribably happy.
You feel like you've done the right thing by
Absolutely.
being
I met members here and what we do in our home. And my parents would just be thrilled to be hearing this from their grandson, and makes me tearfully happy.
Our daughter Rachel's baby naming was here. That was just before we joined the synagogue, and she's going to be 21 this year. So our whole family has grown up here at the temple.
Yeah.
I want to say that we first found out about the temple when we were planning to get married 46 years ago, and there weren't many rabbis here, and we found Rabbi King, and that's what originally, he married us, and then when we moved here and we found that he had a congregation, then we decided to come to the congregation that he was heading up. And also we were drawn in by Aryeh, who we feel has really given expression to our spiritual needs.
At that time, it was Rabbi Bernard King, and I had two daughters at the time. Rachel's third grade, Jenna's first grade, and we walked in, and they had a drama teacher who we weren't members, they didn't know us, immediately looked to the kids and said, "Kids, we're putting on a play. Come on, you got to help us out." And we're like, and they looked at us like, "Oh, yeah, go put on the play." And my husband and I sat in the congregation. Our daughters were whisked away, and next thing you know, they were up on a stage doing a play. We said, "This is it. This is the place for us."
When my husband and I moved to this area and wanted to get married, I called the temple thinking Rabbi King would marry us, and he was retiring, and they said, "Do you want to meet Rabbi Rick?" is what they were calling him at the time, and we said, "Well, he sounds cool." And I thought it would be nice to be married by the same rabbi that was going to bar and bat mitzvah our kids, and that's happening soon.
Coming here and staying here are not the same thing. And the staying here part is really driven by a lot of wonderful aspects of this synagogue, not the least of which is the rabbinate. Rick Steinberg is someone, I've never met anybody like that.
And then Rabbi Steinberg came along, and Rabbi Steinberg has really taken us to the next level. And I mean, if you look at where we are today, it's his stamp, you know, and he's really, he's amazing. And it only gets better. And you can look at this new facility and you're going to see it's only getting better. And this is going to absolutely put us on the map. I mean, we were there to begin with, but this takes us to the top of the map. And I think it just gets better by the day.
Our rabbi has this amazing slogan saying, "It's cool to be Jewish." And so everybody kind of follows along those terms. And that just kind of, when he says it, the way he says it, it just gets in your head. And it's like, it's cool to be Jewish. Like,
it just sticks with you forever.
He can get down to the 2-year-old level or up to the 89-year-old level, and just absolutely is amazing to watch him to relate to these people. And I think everybody's in awe when they're around him because of his his spiritual knowledge and the way he conducts himself around the people.
We're just so happy here, and you know, the school programming is amazing. We have a staff that's incredible. We have this brand new beautiful building, which I'll just throw in my tip my hat to being on the building committee, and so proud of what we've accomplished, and so happy that this building, not only is it a physical new building, but it's allowing us the ability to expand our programming and accommodate so many other great things, to meet all facets of congregational life, from worship to social to, everything in between. And
so for me, being Jewish is really important because, especially in Orange County, but thinking about being Jewish and looking down the line at, you're part of this chain and these links, and at some point you could stop that link continuing on.
Yeah.
And being part of such a small percentage of people in the world, if I've decided to not carry on my tradition or my culture, I feel like that chain is broken. So it's really important for me to carry on the traditions and the values and the spirituality of Judaism, because I don't want to be the last link in the chain.
I'm telling you how many times it's honestly been my husband usually, who just converted a few years ago after we got married, that says he wants to go to temple for Friday night services. And it's always like, oh, well, we kind of got to dress up. Yeah, okay, let's see if we can make it work, see if we can get there on time. And we always call them, say, hey, we're going, do you want to come with us? Especially now that we have my son who's almost 2. It's a lot more fun. And every time we go, without fail, we're always so happy that we went. You feel connected to religion and faith and all these people around you, and you feel refreshed and rejuvenated, and you're able to tackle whatever else life is throwing at you. It's always been worth that hour break of whatever's going on.
Yes, we're always so glad we came, and I always think, why don't I come every Friday? Why? I love it. Why? And it's just getting in the car. It's just laziness. That's what it is, and it's a lot easier. We've got this excuse over here. It makes it a lot easier.
It's like exercising. Like you've got your buddy.
Yeah, exactly.
Your buddy to go
Come
with,
on, our temple buddy. Let's go.
Always feel better.
Oh, I've never ever thought, oh no, I didn't need to go. No, it's always worthwhile. It is always worthwhile.
We were in temple one night and you were jumping on the chairs, and I got very mad and said, Joe, get down, you can't act like that here. And a lady behind me that I did not know tapped me on the shoulder and said, honey, let him have fun here, or he's not going to feel welcome being himself. He could jump on the floor if you don't like it, but let him jump a little. And I thought, oh, how nice, because she's right.
Judaism in general casts a very wide, broad tent, and I think Congregation Shir Ma'alot represents that idea that there's a place here for all Jews, regardless of how specifically observant they are or their Jewish background. It's been very welcoming of interfaith couples, which I think is great, and I think people can feel free to feel Jewish here without having to be a carbon copy of what other people are.
Right.
I think most people think I'm Jewish.
I mean, look at him.
That's right. I mean, really, most people think. And the name Miller, trust me, they're always surprised to hear he's not Jewish.
I go to temple, so
he sings. He's like
a lot more than members.
Actually, his mother told me when we got married in a synagogue, by the way, that she was thrilled that he was marrying someone who had faith, and that, and she was always unbelievably respectful and really amazing.
Like culturally, my ethnic background is, I can relate that similar to Judaism, and I agree. I mean, growing up and having that tradition from a culture standpoint, I think is very similar. I think it's very important to keep that tradition ongoing. So doing these things every Sunday, Friday night, whatever, being involved in the temple, I think is very important, not for us as adults, but also important for Dylan.
No matter where you go, you always find your people. Sometimes you have to look a little more for them, but and for us, I think that was here at this temple.
Another great experience was when I became a bat mitzvah here at Shir Ma'alot. The ceremony was fabulous. The education, the classes were wonderful, exciting to go to, and the finality was very worth the efforts.
New members, and which I think is a critical thing when you are a new member at the temple, is to find your support system and camaraderie and
Right.
all of that. I think it's just has a huge impact on the experience here. And we joined a Havurah immediately. We had some friends that were in a Havurah, so we were kind of recruited into an existing group. And 20 years later, we're still with that group.
Yeah.
And we have an amazing Havurah. We're one of the longer lasting groups, and all of our kids, like we said, have grown up together. They're all college graduates and adults. We're starting to have, marriages now with the kids. We've been through, highs and lows and funerals and celebrations, and I can't speak highly enough to the Havurah experience.
We are part of a Havurah, which is absolutely fantastic. Everybody in the Havurah is going through the same life experiences that we are, with kids and starting family, and we get together once a month with them and we do amazing activities, some of them with the kids, some of them without. We go bowling, we go wine tasting, we do birthday parties, we go to the park. It's our family away from our family.
Yeah,
right?
That's the thing. I'm really, all the kids that I knew since I was in Hebrew school, and then when I was a madrich and all that stuff, we still meet all the time.
At Shir Hamalot, everyone's really inclusive, and our teachers, they really help us learn Hebrew and learn the culture of all of this, like where this came from, and they really help us experience it.
My favorite day isn't actually on Sunday school. My favorite day was a Tuesday night. And growing up, I've always wanted to be more active and be more of a participant. And so my freshman year, I ran for Shmofty board, which is our youth activities board that plans everything that we do throughout the year. And I won. And I felt like a leader, and I felt like I was finally able to give back to the community, and it just gave me another opportunity to have more fun with my friends and grow as a person.
When I became more of a person that was developing my own thoughts and questioning everything around me a bit more, and the guidance that I received from Sunday school and then into the classes that I maintained coming to through high school really helped solidify my Jewish identity, which I feel very strongly about, and I attribute that solely to the experiences that I had here and the classes that I took here.
And your mother.
Well, yeah.
My favorite day at Shir Hamalo would probably be my cousin's bar mitzvah. I loved watching him do amazing in all his prayers, and then he had an amazing lunch afterward here, so I really enjoyed that day.
And I have to say, these guys are 15 years old, and on Friday nights when I say we're going to temple, they say okay.
By being a Madrahim, I'm still learning as if I were still in classes. And I get to connect with the kids on a personal level, and the teachers are so nice and so amazing. The staff here is really nice, and it's just another way to also help me with my leadership skills.
Stuff like that. It's nice when I sit in synagogue and my grandchildren, I see their lips moving. And I know that it's really working, that everything they've been taught here at our second home at Shir HaMalat, it works, and we're connected. And that's what's so important for my family, for my husband and I.
I would have to say that the most important part about raising our kids Jewish is that we want them to have a sense of belonging. We want them to carry traditions. We want them to have a sense of a spiritual life, something that's bigger than themselves. We want them to be able to give. We want them to be able to love. We want them to be able to find hope and happiness throughout their lives.
There are no words to describe how we feel as we see our children and our grandchildren connected to Jewish communal life. And that happens through a synagogue like this that reaches out to people of all races, all ages, all backgrounds, all religions, because not everyone who supports the synagogue and attends is Jewish, but everyone is accepted. And we we get to see especially our grandchildren understanding that is part of our Jewish communal life. That's very important to us.
And it's wonderful to walk in and see all these new faces and new families, and they're excited, and everybody's excited, from the old members to the newest members, and it continues to just flourish. And I think now that we have the ability to appeal to more people, it's going to get better by the day.
You know, we've been to a lot of different temples in the area, a whole bunch of different congregations, and there's nothing that has the feeling when you walk into the doors here of the warmness, the
sincerity,
the welcomingness, you know, and everybody has that. And I've never had that feeling anywhere else we've been to. Every time we go to somewhere else, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous. They have gorgeous campuses, or they have unique situations that bring you to that situation. But everything that Shir HaMa'alot can provide for everybody, from young students who are in this area because they don't have family close by, to you know, the single families, or the young couple that just got married, all the way up to the older congregants that are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. We have so much that brings everybody together, and everybody just always has such a great time. Even when we have just our Friday night live services, you know, the joy that I get from being here, not just because of listening to the choir or to the band, but seeing how the congregation loves it. That whole feeling is what I like. I like the energy, you know, that's here, and that's what I always try to portray to anybody who's interested in looking, or why should I come here? You know, it's a unique situation that you just don't get anywhere else.
Felt good at the service. I loved the rabbi. I loved the cantor. It was not very formal. I just loved it, so I stayed.